Blimey, that guy looks like he's working hard streaming. Good evening, everybody, and it's Wednesday again, the 30th of April, 2025. I'm still in the right year. Welcome, everybody, to another instalment. Guests, as normal, I'm going to bring on the stage Pete and Diane, and a certain other member of my family here.
Show hands. I love it. There you go. Fantastic.
Now, I'm just going to put this up here because tonight's show is a little bit different, because I'm going to try and make the audience work for a living tonight, because if you press that link, you can join us on screen. And this is all about meeting each other and connecting with each other. So I now challenge you, I'm throwing down the gauntlet to come and join us on screen with that link there. Chat to us, meet us, even if we know you, right? Let's just have a little evening together. We've done lots of guests and stuff, so let's just be a bit more intimate. Let's get to know each other and get those faces known.
Drink, darling.
Yes, darling. What a strange week, eh? Really, really strange. I was just on my way back from Pete's and went into MaxMat. Just paid for my stuff, luckily.
Yeah. The second he put the receipt into my hand, the electricity went off.
That's awesome. I can't believe your timing. That is pretty damn good.
Yeah.
You should have stayed in. We had nothing. Gary, I had no idea there was a cut on until we read it on Facebook. So I had absolutely no clue there was a power cut at all. So
I just thought it was the supermarket. I just thought it was the store. But no, obviously.
Did we go somewhere else and found that we couldn't go in?
No, not because we drove back then, didn't we?
Yeah.
So I didn't. It's not until I reached the Eagle's Nest did I realise that we got no power. So no power means no water for us there because it's electric pump.
Oh yeah. Oh.
So
nasty.
Yeah. How about down there by the seaside? How was life after the terrible events there?
Well, I actually, in a perverse way, quite enjoyed it. I was driving around Caldash on a bit of a business meeting, which went really well. And I was like really sort of enjoying life. And then I saw all these cars and everything driving about, and it was like traffic jams in Caldash, Dorania. I can't remember the last time I was in a traffic jam in Portugal, and that says something. So we're driving about, and the traffic's getting thicker, and then it comes to a standstill. And I thought, I don't like the look of this. And then I passed a few petrol stations, and I thought, there's something up here. This is not right, because they got the cones out and people were sort of trying to get into petrol stations, and everywhere was sort of like hot in the city type atmosphere. And I thought, no, there's something going down. There's panic in the streets. And there really was, I started to see people sort of like getting into the supermarkets and trying to get the last dregs of stuff out of there. And I thought, well, I'm not going to panic. I thought, no, I'm going to be logical about this, because the power went about, I think it was about 9:30 where we were. So I did know about it. But I put the two things together. And I took the day and I thought, deliberately, I'm not going to get into that mode where, and I think Portugal does this to you. It gives you more, laid back effects, and so you can take things a bit more in your stride. And so that's what I did, really. And I thought, and I looked around and had a bit of a giggle at people sort of getting really, because I've got the great advantage of I don't have to get to work at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning.
We drove through a few towns where they started eating each other. So
a few electric cars on the side of the road, and people going, "Oh no, what am I going? I'm run out of power." So I took it with all a sense of fun, and then later on in the evening, I had a little bit of a sleep, and then I woke up, and it was sort of getting twilight, and I thought I better do something now. So I went out into the garden. I got all the solar lights I could. There you go, Pete, solar lights. And I thought, well, I've got enough of these solar lights now to last me the whole night, so I can see what I'm doing. And then I thought to myself, well, okay, I've got gas, thank God. I'm not all electric, so I can cook and I can do the washing up. And so I just started about my business, really, and thought, well, I'll do that. And I think it was probably, strangely enough, about 9:30. So it's probably about 12 hours the power's out. Suddenly glonk. I was sitting on the toilet at the time. Oh, and it came back on. So
you could have your Gillian McKeith moment then, couldn't you? That's quite good.
Eric's on. Hello, Eric.
Eric.
Welcome another one of my man cave comments.
Yeah.
Eric J, the man himself.
Good evening, everybody. I feel a little underdressed. Sitting
I've got a tablecloth on.
Hey, this guy's from New York.
Eric, we were just discussing what happened when the power went off. I mean, I don't really know what happened in Lisbon. It must have been absolute chaos, I would have thought.
Yeah, that's kind of why I came on, because I was in the background listening to the discussion, and Lisbon's not represented on screen right now. But truth be told, I was actually I was in an Uber. I got picked up about 25 past 11. And I was heading to the south side because a bunch of us were going to have lunch over there. So we got almost to the bridge, and I'm looking at my phone, and I have no signal. And I'm like, this is weird. So I start playing around my phone while the Uber driver's driving, and I'm like, I restart my phone. I'm like, I know I paid the bill, all of that. And we got across the bridge, and Pat called me. Or she messaged me, and she says, I guess we have a power outage. And I'm like, no, I don't know that. So it kind of went from there. So I got over to Carl H's house, and one of our other buddies was over there, and no power whatsoever anywhere. And then any type of phone signal or service just degraded as time went on. So once in a while you get a message through, and then nothing. So I spent, then we did what good people do. We started hunting around supermarkets because we weren't going to be able to have lunch. Okay. So what's the next best thing? We have to find some beer and some food.
I thought you were going to say we were hunting around for AK-47.
No, that would have been like on the second or third day we would have had to do that. But,
yeah, I was worried about you not paying me.
And one of the people I was with needed cigarettes, like in the worst way, and probably could have lived without water, could live without food for days and weeks, but without cigarettes, that was going to be a problem. So
I understand that one, definitely.
So Pete's probably the same way. So we went around to a few shops, and all of a sudden we found one that was open, and we went in there, and by the time we grabbed our beer and a couple of bags of potato chips, we were about the fifth people in line. But the woman ahead of us, she was buying just about every single thing in this little store she could get. She had tins of sardines like this high. She grabbed every packet of pasta she could find. She had candy bars stacked. She had paper towels. She bought probably 3 dozen eggs. And she's doing it all while the cashier's ringing it up. She just kept on going back for more. And I'm like, honey, you need to leave stuff for someone else. Nope. So, and by the time we got served at the cashier, we looked back, and the line was just snaking around this whole little mini mart, because that's all it was this little store. But we paid our way. We got out of there, and we satisfied ourselves in the immediate time. And then we were like, what happens if this lasts like till tomorrow? None of us had a whole lot of cash, which was lesson learned number one. You got to keep some cash.
I always believe in carrying a lot of cash, right? I shouldn't say this in case
that's good to know.
Yeah.
Right?
I really hate this cashless society thing, everything's on a card. I really loathe it. And I think if there was ever a time which was an absolute lesson was that period when I was like in a cafe, and I was told to, go and get some drinks and stuff. And there's like 4 or 5 people there with their cards going, oh, it's not working. And I'm Mr. Cash, you know. So I can get to the head of the queue and just dob some cash out. Seriously, we can't get rid of cash as a society. It's
Oh,
just,
they're trying.
Those people will help each other out. That's what I love about it. Someone may have broken their tractor at the weekend, right? And they essentially without any kind of without any hassle at all, we had it towed then on the back of a massive bloody trailer. I've never seen anything like it, right? And then I drove it to the mechanics late that afternoon. Absolutely awesome on a Sunday.
It's still there.
It's fun. It's great.
I've got to say, Pete, that sky behind you looks a bit apocalyptic.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
lovely. It's lovely. I love it.
It was.
It's always
dramatic.
really crap weather over the mountain, and it's fat here, so I don't mind. It's quite good. It can be as apocalyptic as it wants over there, but as long as it's kind of fine here, I don't mind. So.
No, but that's interesting. The apocalyptic word, yeah.
I can't say that either.
Few drinks.
I thought I got through that one, but the that word, the apocalyptic, that word, everybody started going like, oh, this is apocalypse, you know, something really bad's happened, and then you could see the panic setting in with people.
Yep.
And it was kind of really, as a sort of an observer, it's really strange to watch. I don't know what everybody else thought. Did they see any examples?
Unless Bob and Viv, you live in Viseu, and this happened in the rural areas near Viseu, where it happened to be, people just kind of ignored it.
Right, honestly,
and
here they rigged up a generator to the pumps, so the petrol pumps worked. Right, you saw when we went on the tractor parade.
Hang on, was that petrol?
Yeah, petrol diesel. Right,
some people need it.
Some people need it. I don't fucking need it at all. But Gary, you saw what they did with
Tell us why.
With that generator when we were doing the tractor parade. Do you remember one of the first things they rigged up?
Yes.
Go on then.
The wheel wagon.
It was the beer pump, right? They're prepared for everything here. There's no way we're going to run out of beer or petrol or anything else, right, or food. So I think
I love that.
I think we're all
enough of this talk of the weekend. But before I go into this, I must once again thank you and Diane for your hospitality. It was beautiful. We were fed like kings and watered like a horse, so everything was great and just pampered.
Put on about 5 stone.
Yeah.
Why the long face?
So we if you want to introduce this, Pete, before I play the video, what was it?
No, you go ahead. You filmed it. You did better than me. I'm not rubbish at filming anything that I do. So
I mean, we'd arranged to do this a few weeks back, hadn't we? To come up and decorate the tractor for the Paseo Tractor.
The tractors kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. For those people who don't know where Orca is, Pete, can you elaborate and tell them?
I'm not going to tell anyone. We're going to keep it to ourselves.
Not after this, buddy. Not after this.
No, Orca's in between Fundão and Castelo Branco. And for me, it's the best village in Portugal. I think it's just, I absolutely adore living here. And the people here, virtually everyone that you're going to see in Gary's video, we know personally, and they are awesome. It's a fantastic village to live in. It's really lovely. And they're incredibly generous. And they've got a fucking idiot who can't speak. Sorry, they have an idiot who can't speak Portuguese on their Festa committee, which is quite stunning, really, to be fair. So I'm to them.
Right, let's look at this video. Let's get some good vibes. Let's see some sun. few questions. I mean, did the design that we've produced affect the aerodynamics anything?
I don't think so. I think
bit of
it maybe added a bit of speed to this.
Really?
Added some horsepower.
And everything stayed in the right place?
Yeah. It's all.
And what do you reckon your top speed may have been along the back road there?
Top speed was about 20 kilometers per hour.
Oh, excellent.
Awesome.
That was an awesome video you put together.
That was very good.
Yeah.
Go back on.
Can somebody put the light on? Because all I've got
Yeah,
is a
please.
dark
I'm
screen.
trying. Just,
There we go.
We haven't got another power cut, have we?
no, it's right.
He's-
What,
I've got loads of buttons to press here, so
what a brilliant video. I love that video, man. That was great.
It was a really good
that's
day.
awesome,
no,
man.
I,
But even though
I
we-
felt very sympathetic for Pete, because he had to spend most of the day like this.
It was. I'll tell you what was really good, right? So wherever we stopped, they laid on. So it's €20 for you know, Gary, for the t-shirt, the hat, 2 meals, right? but they laid on beers everywhere you went. So the reason why my tractor came back 4 hours later than everyone else's bloody tractor was because they stopped at about 10 beers. And you saw how the guys came in, didn't you? Do you remember the way
Those drunk ones trying to
they
get
had a
off.
couple of drunk lads that they just plonked with the tractor on right into the bar. Right? It's awesome.
How many stops did you have for beers when you're out?
So there were 3 villages, but in between that, there's like local houses and stuff that would put stuff on. So I reckon Elishma said he had the best days had for ages, right? But Elishma said, and I didn't get to do all of it. So he said he's had about 15 stops for beers, right? So when we were going along with tractors and that tractor,
And they were driving the tractors home.
I love.
Yes.
Cool.
And we saw what happened later with the tug of war and everything.
Yeah, they were proper.
Oh, that was savage, that tug of war. I mean,
It's awesome.
savage on the clutch. There must have been
Did they have an award? Sorry, did
They
they
had
have an
awards,
award
but-
for the best decorated?
Yeah. We didn't come anywhere close, honestly.
Really?
The worst thing is, yeah.
There were some really, really
Eric,
good
right?
ones.
There were some really good ones, but even worse than that, there are 3 villages, and each village gets a separate award, right? And therefore, we didn't even get one in our tiny
Okay.
area. But
I was just judging my comment based upon the tractors that I saw in the video.
oh,
So
there were
I
lots
guess-
of others. There were quite a few of them looked like Mad Max. Even worse than that, Eric, there was a guy behind me, right, who I went to his 100th birthday party, right,
Wow.
in the village, right, earlier this year, and he had a tractor that was pretty similar age to him, and that didn't blooming break down, and mine still did, right? So I think
He
it's
may be
just,
on the market for a new tractor.
yeah.
There you go.
I mean, what was the design concept behind your decoration? Because to
Well,
me,
originally
there was a lot of vegetable matter in the front. It looked like you've driven through a hedge, and
It was
done a
kind
bit
of
vegetable
porky.
chomping.
Porky at the back. The worst thing was
Porky.
the original design would have been the original design was meant to be like flowers and stuff over, and the mares.
Is that you there, Pete, in the back?
That is me. Yeah, I'm looking very seductive. Maybe
Oh,
not.
honestly. I'm thinking Mayfair.
It wasn't the most comfortable. of
They
places.
did a comment once on my brother, right? So he used to edit Penthouse, and they said when he was editing it, they said the staples would look like an iron bar.
I just hate that. I really hate that. He got to edit Penthouse.
No, yeah, and a load of others. But
What was his criteria?
Button piercing, quite good. Different scale.
God knows what time it went on to because we left.
Yeah, it was really good. I was a little bit gutted I didn't get to stay to help out because the weirdest thing is, although all that's fun, I had the most fun kind of washing up and clearing up with the rest of the committee. They're really lovely, you know what I mean? So,
Wow.
well, my big thing for anyone, any advice on that is join in, right, and just get involved.
Brilliant.
They're
Well
always
done.
asking for
I
volunteers.
love that. I love that.
It's
That's
lovely.
excellent. What a great piece of advice. And I tell you, I love the video. You got the whole feel of what was going on there, and the colour and the sounds and the noises and that.
The
tug
food
of
was
war.
good, wasn't it?
The food was
Yeah.
awesome. Given the fact
Yeah, the food was lovely.
3-course meal, don't we?
Yeah, and
When you
it
think
was
about it,
the
right? You had for your 20 euros, yeah. You had a nice T-shirt. You got yourself a nice cap to keep the sun off yourself.
Yeah.
Unlimited beer or wine. Yeah. You got your breakfast. You got your lunch, your 3-course lunch. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you got to go out around the villages and drink yourself stupid most of the night, most of the day.
I'm
Indeed.
20 euros. It's incredible.
Yeah. And there was just a few of us left behind. Most of the other people, for all the families as well, went with the tractors.
Yeah.
So, sort of like there was just a few stragglers left behind because we didn't realise that that's what was going to happen. So
And one of the tractors had it on the back, right, which was awesome. They had a lamb, a sheep, and a mini goat, right? And I was trying to figure out what it was for because I thought, why have you got a countryside scene at the back? But they auctioned them off later, which was fab. And like everyone had donated them. What's so lovely about all of those events is that they're not financially driven for anything else than funding the festa in the summer, right? That's all they're there for.
Wow.
So no, everyone
Brilliant,
does all of that for free. Yeah, they learn the beers for free, the food for free. Everyone does it. Like Pedro does the t-shirts for nothing.
Yeah.
It all goes towards
And he
funding.
made the trophies as well. They were
The
free.
trophies were awesome. They
Yeah.
were good fun,
Yeah.
and it's just lovely to be part of a community where it's it's kind of, well, I know it sounds, this is, Eric's going to really hate this, right? But I used to be a communist when I was a kid, yeah. And I honestly think it's the closest I've got to that sort of community where everyone just pitches in. It's just lovely. It's a really nice place to be, you know. So it's
Pete, how many people would you say were there, like in where the meals were served? How many people?
Well, 200. We had 200 for the meals. So bear in mind, it's the first time we've ever done the event, right? So there's been no tractor parade there before, and we had 60 tractors, which I think is pretty good going. Plus, you had in each of the other villages. So we're kind of like 3 villages. So we've got the fantastically named Zebras down the road, where someone decided to have a herd of zebras, right? And then we've got Martianus up the road, friends of Martianus.
Martianus.
Right? So they all had a whole big like buffet and drinks and everything laid on. And so they had like little parties there. And the festive group I'm in, we do parties literally every 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah, there's something big going on. And I'm full of admiration. The time and effort and the way they throw a party here is just like nothing else I've ever experienced.
That's a great point. Where else are you going to find this for 20 euros? Yeah, to go out and have such a great day, such a wonderful time. It's just incredible.
I have, for the second time, I have discovered that rural Portugal festas are completely bonkers. This is another level of bonkers, wasn't it? And I love them. I just love them because they are based on the simplest of things, but just rollickingly good fun, and everybody of all ages with
they just join in. Yeah,
I mean, on that last clip at the end where the two little toy tractors are on the back.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the day, there was a couple of really quite young children, and they'd been watching the tractor tug of war.
That was fun.
They got their little tractors, and they couldn't tow each other, but they were pushing each other. And I thought how lovely they've been watching, and this will go on. So I loved it.
The kids here are so mature because of the fact they mix with all age ranges. When I was in London, or even the kids I teach in London now, they were kind of segmented into age groups. And there's also a night time. There's a bedtime for people in England. In Portugal, the kids are up till 3, 4, 5 in the morning, right? And they get to know all the filthy songs. They get to know all the dances. I think
harming their development in some way.
I think it makes their development so much better. They're so much nicer to speak to. And like the young lad I had helping me with the tractor is just awesome. It's the sort of people that we need out here. And he's just a lovely guy, really fantastic.
You've got a great perspective, you and Diane, haven't you? Because you're both involved in education, right? So you guys know, I mean, you've got, a fair amount of years between you in being involved in that field. And if you're sort of saying that type of thing, that this, is great for young people as well as like all the community, that's got to say something. What do you think?
It's lovely. The problem is in rural Portugal, you can go around and look, everywhere looks empty during the day, right? Yeah. You don't realise that. First of all, a lot of young people are working, right? So it's easy to go around a village and think, oh my God, everyone's like over 70 or something.
Come the night time.
Come the night, it's totally different. And it's also just, I don't know, that people are very proud of the traditions they have here, from coming in and singing carols to our Portuguese class.
And teach us the words.
The mayor whose husband told me, let me in the garage on a Sunday night, right, which most mechanics aren't going to do, yeah. His wife organised our Portuguese classes. They are incredibly welcoming. Now, I admit we're very lucky. If we'd been 10 kilometres either side, we'd have a totally different experience of Portugal. But saying that, I think there are a lot of advantages to moving somewhere where you've got a proper community, and it's something that I think is kind of missing in some places.
I mean, what have we got this weekend? We've got a free-for-all poetry read in the village.
So anyone can bring in their bad poetry and read it. So
Tractor tug of war and poetry reading.
It will be poetry reading with a lot of drink. My Portuguese definitely improves with a lot of drink. So, yeah. But, no, it's
I'm just going to catch up on a few comments. They're stacking up on me, so my beautiful assistant here will hopefully read the comments.
So Vivian says, "Hi everyone, good to see you." And Bob, "We had a great lunch at a cafe with gas and wood grills, both. None of the customers were flustered, nor the staff.
We are talking about
We're
obviously.
talking about the power
Yeah.
cuts. Yeah.
Not about the grills, obviously. But
I've had a lot of gas in restaurants.
Bob also said we had tractor parades in Iowa every harvest. Line started at 5:30.
yeah, Bob, if you want to come on, right, I'm going to put the link back up. I mean, I've
Yeah,
forgotten
come
you're
on.
an agricultural lad, and this you'd have been fits with this one. You'd have loved this one. What else is there?
Squire of the Shires.
That's Simon.
What a spectacular display. Tractor looks very smart. Well done.
Not quite so smart on
I
the back.
said, I can't believe it. A good old-fashioned tractor pull. However, we did have the weighted sleds. Yes, very good video.
Oh.
Vivian, sounds like so much fun.
So, Bob, I'm going to put you the link back up, or anybody else. Come and join us. Have a little chat. That's what we're all about. It's not just about me horning my arse off every week. You got to get yourselves on here as well. So let's have a go.
CP,
yeah.
I think tagging on to what you were saying about the kids and such, I think it builds their social skills
Massively,
a lot better. Being where I come from, the kids would never even leave the house, no less talk to anybody. You know what I mean? It's like you get involved in games, computers, phone, this, that, the other thing. Here, I think there's a lot of opportunity, especially in like areas where you guys all live, that the kids, they have to get out there because that's what they do.
I never thought I'd say this, but I totally agree with Eric.
Yeah, that's the first time.
What's happening to me?
I knew I'd get through eventually.
Well, it's pretty thick.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you're telling me.
What do you mean? You're getting on my nerves now.
Now then, I'm going to try this. I'm not going to it's going to work, but our mate Mark has done an events page, and this is if it's pure brilliance. This is if I can do it. Hopefully that will come. Here we go. Right, now what you can do on this website is basically just go through the days, and you can choose where you want to go. Obviously, there are different places in Portugal. You're never going to be bored with this because it's done in date order, and you just have a little flick through, find your area where you want to go.
Useful.
And Bob's your uncle. There really is something for everybody.
Bob Wenger is your uncle.
There he is, Uncle Bob. And I think that's a damn great. I mean, look, there's the Malia tournament coming up as well.
There's what?
Malia, the throwing the disc.
Malia, you mean the Fado singer?
No, Malia the game. Malia.
Yeah, it's really good.
Malia.
So I think that is a damn good little thing to have.
I think that's brilliant. What a brilliant idea. Some logicality in the world.
Gary, I've just put in a picture of the kind of kids. What I love is they all get exactly the same outfits and hats, right? So everyone looks exactly the same.
Oh, no, they all look the same
Yeah, we're all wearing uniform.
They get super involved. And these twins, right? I think it took us about 2 years to work out who their parents were because they're looked after by everyone in the village. They're always out.
Different people all the time.
It took us ages, but it's just lovely that they make sure everyone's involved. I think it's a wicked place to bring up kids. I'm totally with Eric on and with Terence on that. I just think it's a really good grounding place for them to be. And on top of that, it's the space you have out here is like nothing else, really, to be honest. So, I don't know. I'd say it does. It makes a real difference, especially being in that kind of community. And you saw what it was like. Both of you, Linda and Gary, it's impossible to drive down my high street without stopping for 20 minutes chatting to someone, and just the fact that you can do that's quite nice, so it is lovely.
When I lived in San Martino, Pete, you really raise a great point there. You become such a fixture in the community that I couldn't get down the seafront, right, in the space of 3 hours. And it's probably a walk that would take you 20 minutes because every couple of minutes, 3 minutes, somebody goes, "Hey, whoa, come on, have a drink." And I'm not joking. I used to have to devise like little back streets and things to get round everything because I couldn't get anything done, right? And I mean, what a brilliant sort of atmosphere to live in, it's just perfect, really. But I mean, what, you know, with your tractors and everything, what was the thing that won the best decorated tractor?
Oh, blimey. I don't know. I think by that stage, I was too busy helping out. Right?
You had too many beers.
We had quite a lot of drinks. But my favourite part of all is just helping with like the food and helping people out in general. There's something, I think, especially when you get to our kind of age, I hate to say it, but when you get to our age, you want to give something back. And it's kind of really nice to be able to do that.
How old are you, Pete?
21
I'm
again.
52, I am. So, yeah, I'm pretty fucking ancient.
Oh, it's a bit ancient.
He's still a youngster. Come on now.
But I think it is really nice. It's a great place for especially families as well. We've met so many.
The number of times we go into the village and we just go for coffee and we come out about 6 hours later.
Yeah, that does happen with amazing regularity.
Yeah.
It's a bit like
the more people come in, the more beers appear on your table.
Yeah, it's a risky one.
That's terrible life, isn't it? Really?
I know.
Hey, Gary, can you put up the website for what all the that was showing?
Yeah,
all those
of
events?
course, it's really good.
I can. I think I've just got rid of it, to be honest. I will. Oh, no, here you go. Hang on.
It might help if you post it in the comments.
Yeah, I'm just going to copy it over.
Brilliant.
Just
Great idea. Yeah.
Copy over.
So, Eric, down in Lisbon, did you really feel the panic take hold?
Well, just to finish my story, I finally decided to catch a ride with one of the other guys that was with us at around, I don't know, it was probably between 5 and 6 in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like, we don't know what the bridge is going to be like, but we're just going to give it a go, because it was either that or I was going to stay where I was for the night. So we got in the car and we cruised across the 25th bridge like nobody's business. And I was probably home in 20 minutes, which would normally take.
So you're saying the bridge was deserted?
It was basically deserted.
And what was the reason for that, do you think?
Because I think everybody left work earlier. Like once the power was out for a couple of hours, it was like, we're going to scrap the day, and people got to wherever they're going to be, early in the afternoon. But yeah, we cruised into the city, and I got home, and I will have to say that I was happy that the electric came on right about 9:30.
Yeah,
because it was really starting to get dark in the city, and I was. I don't want to say I was fearful, but I was concerned about what might take place in the overnight if the power stayed out. But fortunately, the power came on around 9:30. There was cheering all over the place. Yeah, it was crazy.
Did you feel an extra sense of relief being an American? Because there's a lot of movies, isn't there? Disaster movies when everything goes sort of pear-shaped.
Yeah, but see, I've been through blackouts before for extended periods of time.
We were in the war.
No, due to storms and stuff like that. I think the longest I've been without electricity is probably about 5 days.
Really? That's incredible.
Yeah. So
that
was in New York. So
wow.
Yeah.
That's
that was as a result of
the David Coleman voice. Oh, incredible! Incredible!
He opened his legs and really showed his class.
So anyway, I was glad the power came on when it did, and everything was fine for the night in Lisbon. There was not a lot of no incidents that I heard about and all that.
Yeah.
So.
I think the Portuguese are uniquely good at coping with this because they have so many holidays. Yeah. So, for example, we've got the Day of Workers, haven't we, coming up on May the 1st?
Yeah, Labor Day.
Yeah, and it's Day de Trabalhadores or something like that. So yeah, I just think because they've got so many holidays and they're also naturally a calm people. I think if it was going to happen anywhere, you're better off in Portugal than you are in most other places. I can imagine.
Yeah, I agree, but. There's certain areas even in the city here that can get a little dicey. But yeah. So being that Labor Day, I think, is Thursday,
Yeah.
I'm just
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow's Thursday, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm looking at you, Eric.
I'm still okay.
You're not on that strong beard again,
I
are you?
love it. And Eric's on Portugal time.
I'm gonna let
So-
Bob come in because he's been waiting very patiently there. I don't
So
want
I'm
to
just
do-
wondering what strike there will be on Friday, because there will be a strike, I
Must be.
guarantee it.
must
Well,
be.
it's coming towards the weekend, isn't it? So it's such an opportune moment to have a strike because you can get such a nice holiday
I'm gonna
period.
let Bob come in. I'm gonna let Bob
How
come
you
in.
doing, Bob?
Bob.
That-
The most
that's
handsome man of the north himself.
I'm enjoying listening. Viv's over here in the corner, so there we
Hi.
go.
Hello,
Hi,
Viv.
Viv.
How you doing, love?
We're on the phone instead of any laptops or anything. But yeah, New York. I mean, that's Iowa. I remember about 5 days once. We lived in the mountains of Colorado, and I mean, like high elevation, and still only lost power. Oh, maybe 2 days at a time.
Yeah, not
So-
bad.
Got real good at trusting the refrigerator. Just don't open the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
See, it
true.
was somewhat interesting back in the day, we all, even if we had a mobile phone when I'm old. So when they first came out, most of us still had like a landline that
Oh, yeah.
was hooked up to the telephone company, not to the internet. So
Right.
we always had that sort of security that even if the cell towers were out or whatever, we could pick up that phone and you still get a dial tone and you could still make a call.
Yep.
Now there's nothing.
Well, you could have come over to mine. You could have made a call anytime. We had perfect internet. I was teaching in London during the middle of that power cut, right? And there was
Okay.
no difference at all. If you've got Starlink and you've got
Yeah, well, I knew that was coming. And good on you. And good on you. Yep.
you're fine, is all I'd say.
Yeah.
So
It was great when it was all the lights were out, when it got dark because we could see all the stars.
the stars were
But
amazing.
the rest of
out
it was
here,
pitch black.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
Till
really-
about nearly midnight before the lights came on in the village behind us.
Yeah.
I will say though that solar lights were our biggest frustration where we were, because we were thinking, wow, it's a new moon. We're going to see all these stars. And there were so many solar lights on. We still couldn't see the stars.
Oh, we can see the stars pretty well most of the time. I found it really funny. The night sky here is so clear.
Oh, yeah.
We had an idiot tell one of my friends, he said, oh, it's a shame it's always cloudy here at night. It was the Milky Way he was looking at. It was really funny.
We had a really good view of the
Yeah.
a really good view of the Big Dipper.
Yeah. The Big Dipper was about all we could see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So funny.
We've got Karen with us, who's popping in. Karen, if you want to come on and say hello, that is the
Yeah.
link. I've never spoke to you face to face or even.
No, it'd be
I've always
lovely,
seen
wouldn't it?
comments, but I've never actually spoken to you. So if you can, try it.
she's really good. She
She's
puts
lovely.
so many posts up that really make you think, and she's great. I think she should join. I think she should just contribute. So if you're out there,
She's
well,
very-
obviously you're out there because you're sending messages.
Well, obviously, yes.
Obviously,
Where are you at the moment, Bob? Are you out and about again? Are you on the run?
No, we made another swing south of here and came past Amarant on the way home, and we're like, wow, it's only 3:00. Let's swing in, because we've driven past it multiple times.
Yeah.
Over the course of the last couple of years. Anyway, what a beautiful city. It was really nice. We're going to have to go back. That's kind of what we're doing, is exploring and making lists and where we're going back to. So
so Bob, with your kind of truck driving history, which I
Yeah.
think is fantastic, right? With your big rigs and all that. Do you think that gives you? Tell me about your attitude to exploring Portugal. Do you think that driving thing has helped you broaden your perspective?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Distance takes a whole new meaning when you live in the mountains. It was an hour to the grocery store.
yeah.
In what way? In what way has it helped you?
Well, from a truck perspective, the way it's helped me is, number one, I use the outside mirrors, not the inside mirror.
Right.
The inside mirror magnifies, and I finally figured out, I could never figure out why people were always complaining about the terrible tailgaters. It dawned on me, they're using the inside, Americans, use the inside mirror that magnifies.
Yeah, yeah. They look like they're really close.
Yeah, at least 2 car lengths more than it appears.
Yes.
So that's one thing that's helped tremendously. It took me 2 years to figure out why people were so freaked out. The second thing is the awareness of what's around you, because I used to do long and wide loads. I'd haul 12-foot 2-inch equipment, which is almost 4 meters, and that's width, not length. And so the awareness of where you are in space. I'm always asking Viv if she saw this and she saw that.
He notices everything, and I see nothing. I see nothing.
So,
I never know where I am, and he
always away with the ladies, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's that equipment stuff, because it when you're squeaking through gates with inches on each side of you, you just.
There's a lot of that in Portugal, isn't there? I particularly like Porto, but some of the stuff they were hauling on the back of the tractors, like sofas and beer kegs and stuff, and then going down some of the narrow lanes we had, it's nuts. I think it does. It kind of you do realise how skilled people are on judging distance. It's pretty good. Yeah. Particularly my blooming 100-year-old behind me, he was pretty good. He wasn't a bad driver at all. So, how are you with radiators on tractors then, Bob?
With what on tractors?
Radiators.
Seen them.
I think no, that's all right. I think the mechanic's all right there.
I've got to just jump in here, right? Because I don't know how well you can see that, but on the way to Pete's, talking about driving, if you love driving, I have to say that this road is probably one of the best I've ever driven in Portugal for scenery. It's a bit twisty, windy, but if you've got your sort of car, Bob, like a little convertible, or you've got a motorbike, or even maybe a camper van, right? That is a Leiros there, where the little pointer's going. Okay, maybe if I put that full screen, it might be better to put it full screen. Just a second. Don't quite know how to do that.
Yeah, because I can't see where your pointer is.
Just a second.
That doesn't happen often, does it?
No joke.
That might do it.
This is my brother you're talking about there.
I've heard the stories.
Right. Okay. That's the best I can do. Right. That's a Leiros, right?
Where? Where's
with
the
that little? With that, I don't know. Can you see my little pointer on the?
No, it's too small, Gary. You've got to try and get
it too small. You've got to get it bigger, man.
I can't. That's bigger than get it.
Where are we looking? I'm lost.
It's not much, but right, I'm going to blow it up.
There you go.
Okay, right, that's a Leiros.
Right, yeah, great.
Right, now if you travel this road here, out of Leiros, yeah.
Oh, Gary, I've got to disagree. In a Tesla, it doesn't half make you feel ill, that road.
Yeah, but that's a Tesla, Pete. This road goes up through the mountains, and the scenery is absolutely spectacular.
Stunning.
Really?
Yeah, it is probably one of the best roads I've ever driven in Portugal. It's beautiful. And you can split here.
You should do a road movie, man.
You can split off here and go that way, and that's equally as beautiful. It really is absolutely stunning.
Do you know what they call that road locally, Gary?
Probably Death Alley or something like that.
They call it the S road, right? Because the English helped build it, and they said yes to every time everyone asked to take a turn. It means that you're coming
Right, John. For some reason, your picture's gone.
I don't know why. I haven't got.
You haven't got another power cut, have you?
No. You can
We
obviously
can hear your voice, but we can't see your face.
which proves I'm omnipresent. But
Your camera has gone off.
Huh?
Your camera's gone off.
My camera's gone off. Well, you gave it to me, so I blame you. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll unplug it and stick it back in. I'll do some messing. You guys talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah, right? Double entendres here.
Oh, it's all dark.
He's in a box on his own.
I think you need a bigger dongle, Terence. That's what it is. Just make sure
It's always been my problem.
Yep.
Size of my dongle.
I meant to ask you, Eric, have you had any festivals in the capital there? I mean, it's coming up to that time of year when the festivals start to get going.
No, it's another situation like we were talking about. I don't know, last week before, where nothing is publicized, right? All of a sudden, something is there, and if you come about and pass it, then you know about it. Otherwise, it was like, oh yeah, that happened yesterday, that happened 2 weeks ago, right? And that's why I found it very interesting to see that website, and I will definitely keep that on my radar. And if I have anything to report, I'll definitely let whoever that is know, so they can post it.
Mark, his name is Mark.
It's really good to have something like that, because ultimately what happens with a lot of events, especially annual regular events, is that the Portuguese presume you should know they're on, right?
Yeah.
So they're kind of on the same time. And I think what Mark's done is an amazing job. The fact that he's got it in date order, and now you could just have a look, see if there's something local.
That's good.
I've been putting things on the Facebook page, and then Mark's been transferring them onto the website.
It's really good though. He's done a fabulous job. So heads up to Mark on that one. I think he's
absolutely.
See, but I think even around in Lisbon itself, Lisbon Central, I think a lot of it is I don't know how to put it, but neighborhood oriented, where it's just a couple of blocks within the city that people know about it and people participate and stuff like that. It's very localized to that extent. So
that makes sense.
It's a bit like a street party, almost a street party that we used to have.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yep.
What was the website? Is it the fellow that's doing it through Carl's group or another one?
No, he's actually on the Central Portugal. I'll put it up again for you there. That's it there.
Okay.
But he's also posting on the Central Portugal Connection Facebook site.
Okay.
That one going across the bottom there on the banner. That's where you'll find lots and lots of stuff for us centralists. Not so much for you Lisbonites. But yeah, this one appears for everywhere. The events agenda one, that's countrywide. So, and as he said, it's in date order, so you can look what's on tomorrow, the next day, and weeks ahead almost. So that is absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant, really.
Cool.
So, have you had anything up there in the north, Bob? Any festivals or anything going on?
There was a big dog show last weekend that we missed because we were traveling again. They've already had a very large horse event.
There will be more horse events, lots more horse events.
Yeah, lots more horse events, and the local festas are kicking off. I believe it's this weekend. Between here and Viana do Castelo, there's a huge rose festival. And I tell you, the roses up here right now are absolutely amazing.
Yes,
there's a community that has a huge festa around that, and we drove through the area last week, and they already had their big arches up, and we're getting ready to set up.
I think it's this weekend.
So
we're gonna go.
Well, if you can find any details, post them up to that Facebook site at the bottom here.
Okay. If I can find some information on it,
we will.
Bob, have you been to? Because I know Eric and Gary and Linda have. Have you been to Galega? I always call it Golga.
Golga.
That's it.
Bless you.
Have you been there yet? Because that is awesome. That's
that was a good one.
No.
I like that, Bob.
That's the main horse show.
It goes on for about 11 days. This horse show at Golga.
Yeah. And it's brilliant. You can only go into one of the discos if you're on horseback. So, Bob, we expect to see you with your Stetson. And, right.
It's a full gear job again.
Yeah.
I got the Stetson, I got the boots, I got the belt buckle, but I don't have a horse anymore.
Yeah,
Oh, so you can pick one up there, no problem at all.
That's
I
no
don't
use.
a million.
They do sell horses then.
Western saddles aren't welcome around here. I have noticed that.
Oh,
It is. It's a beautiful. It's a beautiful event.
Yeah.
Lee's asking.
Well,
a
bear it in
question.
mind.
Where is the Rose Festival?
Villa
Is
de
it-
Franca,
Villa de Franca.
Villa de Franca in the Viana de Castelo district.
Viana di Castello.
oh, lovely.
So that'd be a nice little trip out for you, Lee.
Oh, that's from home. It's,
Oh, it's a
8 kilometers.
Yeah, for
That's
us.
nothing, is it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not far. Probably 18, I suppose, because Viana's 20 something. Yeah.
Maybe 8.
But anyway, yeah, it's and we've driven through there just ahead of it before, but we have friends that actually caught it last year. He posted pictures, I think, on Port Sardines is his YouTube channel, and Andrei Filipov
Mhm.
is a Russian immigrant to Canada that now lives in Portugal. And he and his wife, and he was professional in TV for years in Canada. And so he posts some really nice pictures on that Port Sardines site
And videos, yeah.
and videos. Yeah.
Ah, look who's back.
Ah!
Ah, there you are.
Oh, so
Oh, I
that
thought-
experience
I was
was
hoping
been
we
on-
lost
I've
him.
been on such a journey you wouldn't believe.
So they didn't find you guilty. You're okay.
Actually, I haven't got much time left. They're sending me down on Thursday.
And down the coast, down at San Martin de Porto, is there nothing happening down there? No.
Oh,
festivals?
I'm going on. Hang on, I'm going all fuzzy now.
You are. God.
I'm disappearing. Goodbye.
You got a
everybody.
camera drunk. What's up?
I was a camera. Oh, buggered. Now, what was your question? I'll just have to.
Is there
appear
nothing happening
fuzzy.
down Caldestrania?
In what sense?
Festas, occasions, events.
Festas. Let's think. I haven't. I've got to be honest with you. I've been working that hard. I haven't really tapped into the old Festas routine. So there are, because there's always something happening in Caldash in the area, San Martino. I don't know whether the sardine festivals should be coming up soon. That's a great one. I love the sardine festival in San Martino.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, because we have one as well.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love it. There's usually
I
about
think
4
it's
a
June.
weekend from now on. I reckon.
Around about June
Is it?
time. I think
Yeah.
it's
Anybody here been to the São João Festival in Porto toward the end of June?
Joel
No.
is always telling me to go to that because it's meant to be the biggest festival. Yeah, one of the biggest ones to go to. So
3rd, 4th, something like that.
Yeah, it's like toward the last weekend of
It's
June.
great.
It's incredible.
Yeah. A lot of people, but it's great.
I do like sardines.
yeah,
Well, they've got to be coming soon because we're starting to head into main festa season.
Yeah.
I just hope weather starts to come back.
I'm sure it will. I think it's only a week of bad weather, and then we're going to be in about 2 weeks' time. We'll all be going to be saying, "Oh, where's the rain? It's too hot." Or,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, it's too hot, isn't it?
I just want to have a look at the mountains behind Pete again. Look at that.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
look at
The
that.
Alcanes, we've got the Alcanes Festival with the world's best cheese.
Cheese festival.
So
yeah,
that is really good.
7th,
Usually,
I think,
yeah,
something like that.
yeah. So that's really nice. So it's definitely worth going to.
Yeah,
But
we always
that
go to that one.
coincides with another 3
get-
festivals
you get-
that we've
there's
got. So
Three
we're
on
going
at the same
to
weekend.
try and do 4 in one weekend, which I think we'll be
You're
in.
joking.
But we should be.
Exhausted. You just won't sleep, will you?
Oh no, we never do. And we've got obviously our festa coming up, and that is going to be 5 days of no sleep and working like a dog.
That's
But
in
it'll be
August,
brilliant
beginning
fun.
of August.
It's going to be absolutely awesome.
Oh yeah, season of festas.
It's fun.
Every village has a festa. Yeah,
And
I mean,
everyone comes back. So you get all of these Luxembourg and French plates coming into
Yeah.
town. And then you realise, it's Festa weekend, everyone's back. So
It's
what I
heaving.
quite like is at our Festa, I didn't realise this quite so much before. I was thinking, why do I not recognise anyone behind the bar at the Festa? And they guilt trip all of the people in Lisbon to come back and do the jobs no one quite fancies. The worst job at the Festa by a mile is the chicken, cooking the chicken, and when it's like
freaking the chicken.
Well, cooking chicken at 48 degrees, right? When you're standing next to a griddle is horrible, right?
Yeah, no one ever wants to do that.
So whoever gets picked for that is usually, I don't know if they've committed a crime in the last year or something bad's happened, but that usually means you're in the worst
year
position.
we did it, they were allocating jobs and they pointed to someone and said the chicken. He went,
it's a Franco. It's like a death sentence.
It's a punishment. You did bad.
Probably hasn't paid his taxes.
Right, we've crossed the hour again. We've actually gone over the hour.
We've crossed the Rubicon.
Yeah, so I always try and target about an hour. Never seems to work. We always go over a bit, but yeah, thanks for your inputs this week.
You're very welcome.
Gary, thanks a lot for the video. It's awesome. I love it. I'll make sure I share it in the village group. So we'll go on to the group.
And those ones you sent me, if I can format them, put them on the central water.
Yeah, it'd be lovely. There's some really nice scenery. I forget how beautiful it is here, but it's best seen. I hate to agree with you on something, Gary, especially this, because it's but my view from the back of the tractor that I had while it was still working, right, for about a couple of hours was amazing. It was really nice. It was possibly better than the Tesla, a lot noisier and rattlier. But it was
a lot more bumpy.
An awful lot more bumpy, but it was beautiful.
When are you bringing the calendar out, Pete, of you on the back of the tractor?
Well, that's only on my OnlyFans account. You have to pay that one.
I've got to find it again. I just want to have one more last look before I go.
That's not the most flattering of poses. The worst thing about that was the flags. The flags kept going in my face the entire time I was going through. So it wasn't the best choice. I reckon. I would have. Next time it's going to be a flowery ring.
We had fun sticking the letters "Orc" on the back because everyone stuck their fingers.
Oh, look at that!
I know. God, blimey. That does show how much I ate in Southeast Asia.
I was supposed to go on there as well, but I couldn't leave Gary and Linda on their own. So
that was your excuse.
I think we would have been able to do a wheelie if you'd been in the back with me as well. I reckon. So.
Diane is so smart.
We couldn't have got in with them either, could we?
It was a bit dirty in there and a bit bumpy.
You guys could have got on. There were a couple of couches you should have got on.
That would have been ideal.
It was awesome. It was so much fun. Going to the villages is just really lovely.
So next year we didn't want to bag a lift on one.
But I did get massively guilt tripped. The guy who's in charge of the committee kept on pointing at the blooming sign saying, "You should be doing some work, you lazy git." So I did get quite guilty.
Right.
So, but it was lovely. No, it's just awesome, and that's only one of.
So I think it's going to become a regular event.
Yeah,
it's so successful.
20 events, I think, that they chuck on all year. So it's nuts. It's really good. Yeah,
I still can't get over the fact they had the beer truck. I mean, just in case if stopping at every village for a drink wasn't enough.
Man.
Yeah, exactly.
At Christmas, there were only about 20 of us there, and we took a photo of how many cases of Sagres we got through, right?
Christmas Eve, in the village bonfire.
And there must have been, so a case contains 24 bottles, yeah? I think there were over 60, so that's 3 cases each that we drunk between Christmas Eve and New Year.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's quite
a lot
going.
With the bonfire burning and melting the cables for the cable.
Oh, I love doing that. That's always fun, yeah.
Every year.
I mean, did you notice in the video on the going out, that it was all very sedate and but like that when they came back in, it was and then there was a bit of it, and it was brilliant. It was just
Bob, have you done a tractor pull yourself? Have you ever been involved in driving one or not?
Oh yeah, in fact, one of the ones I was involved in, we had a Deutz German tractor for, but in the U.S. instead of they'd hook 4-wheel drive pickups up like those tractors, tail to tail. I've seen them pull the bumper right off of the opponent, that kind of thing. Yeah.
But any moment, like one of these 200,000-300,000 pound tractors could go careering into the crowd, right? But that's what I love about Portugal. It's fantastic. So I don't know. It must be.
We had a weighted sled that pulled a weight up and weighted the front skid more and more and more and more the further you went. And so you're just pulling it's whoever could pull that sled the furthest. It's similar to an old Amish horse pull, and as the horse and sled went by, the local Amishmen would jump on the sled. So ours was mechanized, but with the horses, they just keep piling people on the sled until
it's awesome.
So,
sounds really good fun. Wow. Oh.
Now, there's nothing like seeing a drunken load of blokes trying to rip the back off each other's tractor, really. That was
it is a lot of fun. It's great. What I love is that it may be a little bit illegal what they were doing, right? And we were with the mayor and the mayor of the region, right? And it was brilliant, and they were really getting into it. It's just fab. And there's no health and safety, which I really like in Portugal as well. I have to admit, it's elimination of the dumb, isn't it? Really, it's the Darwin Award.
Yeah.
Elimination of the dumb. I'm like, oh Lord! Right, we've had a fun evening. I've enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed that little bit of video I put in there. I hope that really it grows every year. That was a great occasion, simple, good fun. And let's hope there are many more that we can go to, because if
you have to come along next year then, and I want to expect to see some of you guys there as well. So Terence, honestly, it is fun. It's very different from a lot of, because it's so much more intimate, the festivals that we have here. It's much more
no man, I can
each other, man.
Stuart, I'm sold. You know, the back of that tractor, you looked a lonely figure there. You do
I've got to get a bigger tractor with a bigger trailer, to be honest. So
Simon reckons he would have got that running.
It was a tricky one, that one. I got it running for a while, and it's still, to give it its due, right? It's from about, I think it's about 19.
What was wrong with it?
Radiator
broke, right? So it was, the young lad on front was a little bit
enthusiastic. Well, he's overheating.
No, I smashed it on something, so it's kind of cracked at the bottom. So yeah, I don't know. It's one I can't get used to these cars that have like engines and stuff. I don't understand.
Oh no, I'm your man. I mean,
he was trying to put dirt in it, and you know.
I think probably what I did wrong was wash it beforehand, and I probably washed the stuff that was clogging the radiator cracks up.
Yeah, that can happen. You know, when you get radiator filler, like you can get that like stuff that you put in the radiator, and it
oh well, the mayor's husband who's working on it now. This I love, right? The mayor's husband who's working on it. He got an award for taking apart a tank and putting it back together in 15 minutes, right? In the Portuguese army. He is the most strong. You get these tiny Portuguese guys.
He is really tiny.
And I cannot believe the amount he can lift, and he can. It's just nuts, honestly. They're
deep respect.
We just wait till it comes back.
And his garage is spotless as well. I love it when you go to a garage and all the tools are in the right place. Everything looks absolutely perfect. Nothing like mine, but we're getting something sort out. So
the worst sign you could ever have, right? You know, when a guy says, "Yeah, I do all my own mechanics, I do everything," and you go to his garage and like, all his tools are shining. You know, this guy never touches these tools, right? It's just jewelry. Right, you've got to have a lot of dirt, oil, grime, things that he can't find anywhere. That shows a guy that's interacting with machinery.
What I love
We're getting someone else to clear it up because we know that there's a snake in there.
Yeah, that's true.
It was outside our door up here.
It's about a 2.5 meter snake, right? So it's
not one of your specials.
No.
Yeah.
Do you remember that skin I found? It was massive.
Yeah. Well, this snake's bigger, and I saw it when it was hanging just above Di's head on the balcony.
Yeah.
Right?
No.
Its tail came down, and its tail went up, and its head came down.
They're all perfectly harmless. But I love. There's a couple of things I love about snakes in Portugal. Number one, that they're all called cobras, which is just fab. It's so intimidating.
Which is just worrying.
All of us, right? But none of them are really that harmful to you, so you're kind of okay. But
now apparently, the venomous teeth are at the back, and you know, like when they catch rats and stuff, that they kind of like of the rat, and then the venom comes in at the back of the teeth, so they can't really.
We've only got an adder that can slightly harm you if you're over 100, like the git behind me who did the tractor so much better than me, or if you're like 2 months
Getting
old.
competitive now, aren't you?
Yeah, well, I don't know.
The 100-year-old git.
Yeah, he's lovely, actually. He's really funny. I found a brilliant story about him. So the mayor's son went along. He used to be in, well, he's fab in loads of ways, but he used to work in the church a lot, right? So he worked in the church for ages, and much respect to him, right? He used to ring the bell. As soon as the church fired him, he never went to church again, which I think is brilliant.
I think that's fair enough.
Was recording, but the mayor's son went.
That's my religion over.
The mayor's son went into him when he was doing a grave in one of the tombs, right? And he had this tiny coffin in front of him, right? For obviously like a small kid or something. And the mayor's son said he was about 6 or 7 or something. Wandered in and he said, "What's that coffin for?" He said, "That's for you when I chop your arms and legs off."
Just one you want to hear when you're a kid.
Like what I liked, Pete, was actually when they brought your tractor. Well, for one, they put your tractor on the back of that trailer. God knows how they did it.
That was cool.
And then
another tractor got it up there.
Yeah.
And then when you got back, you still weren't abandoned. You had a group of people figuring this problem out. You disappeared for a while, and voila, the tractor was there again. And not only that, the mechanic guy on a Sunday afternoon, probably very much
the mayor.
The mayor's husband.
The mayor's husband, right? Decided that he would take the tractor to his garage on a Sunday afternoon.
Honestly, it's such a nice community. It really is. It's just nuts. I can't say how lucky we are. Honestly, it's just awesome. It's a lovely place to be. So, for me, admittedly, I'm like Eric. I've been in the city most of my life, so it's a massive change to come out to the countryside, and it might be like that everywhere. But I kind of suspect it isn't. So I don't know. I'm very grateful for where we are, I have to admit. So yeah, the people are just lovely. And as Linda said, we really feel at home here. They just, you know how kind of.
Well, they came out and found some T-shirts for you, didn't they?
Yeah.
They came running out with some T-shirts.
She is lovely, honestly. She's absolutely fab. The woman who gave you T-shirts.
Yeah, T-shirts and a cap you got, didn't you?
I find it fascinating, Pete, that the difference between your previous metropolitan life and your life now in the sticks, let's call it that.
That's incorrect. It's the coup de Judas, which is what I love. I think that's an awesome one. The arse of Judas is basically what we call it.
What was the transition like? I mean, was it like
well, it's weird.
I think it was
shock?
because it was during COVID. It eased it, I think.
During COVID, it was wonderful because we had an entire village from a long way away working for us pretty much all the way through COVID, right? Building the house. But what I think is really weird in a way, in London, I was a member of a lot of clubs and societies, right? And that's how you kind of got to do what
the Bloomsbury set.
Well, yeah, to be honest, I did live in Bloomsbury for a long time. And I also, there were things I'd go to that lots of people wouldn't be able to get into. And it's a bit the same as Eric in New York, I'm sure.
Like jail. Wormwood Scrubs.
What I'd say here is that it's busier. It's weirdly busier than it was in London. So in terms of, in London, you could go off and do anything you wanted to all the time. But the number of events, I was away for a month. Like we were off in Asia. And when I came back, I missed about 4 events that they put on. And I felt really bad. And it's just such a lovely community.
Everyone kept coming up, "Where have you been? Where have you been? We haven't seen you." And then next thing you know, we're in the bar, and that was it.
Yeah, and I also found out that word travels quick because my tractor being broken, bloody everyone knows about it. Yeah, my teacher told me did the first bit of my Portuguese lesson yesterday was all on how my tractor broke and how to try and tell people what it was like. It's good fun.
And that Vietnamese salted coffee that you've done, it's bloody addictive. Now even more.
I've given it to a couple of people in the village and they've all said, "Oh yeah, I've done it again, I've bought it." And it's so, the worst thing is it stays with you for such a long time because that fatty milk, it means you've got a coffee taste forever. I love it. It beats Bailey's hands down.
It's really, really nice.
Yeah, salt, coffee and condensed milk and ice. Who would think it would work really well?
Delicious.
Good, definitely.
And here's a little footnote. Pete actually cooked me some steak, which was absolutely divine. And my brother there would tell you, I hardly ever eat beef these days, but that was just beautiful. It was Wonderful meal you did there, Pete. I mean, if I'm going to eat steak again, I'm coming to you, brother. I mean,
typical English, isn't it? It's roast beef and blooming more beef, essentially. So so that's what we usually, you know what we're like. I remember being in a restaurant in Paris and they insulted us. Right, I was with my ex, spoke 11 languages, so quite handy in terms of getting people. They started insulting us, saying, you know, British roast beef, no bloody taste, and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah. You're English with your chips and your fish and
Then
your
they
grassy
did the same
food.
thing. They changed language. They did the same thing in Dutch, and my business had a word.
right.
And then they did the same thing in Flemish. They were chatting in Flemish, and she had a word with them, then, and they eventually fucked off. So it worked well, but it's kind of what we're known for, isn't it? I suppose. And I love the fact that the meat we get here is amazing. The chicken, pork, the beef is where Bob is.
But don't you find, like, I mean, British food gets a right leathering, doesn't it? It gets a right pasting internationally, and it's very unfair.
I don't know. I mean, I'll be all with you, Terence. I'm going to name drop a bit, but I had Gordon Ramsay cook for me when he only had one restaurant, and I've had him cook for me about 7 or 8 times. We've always had the best chefs. The British have always had, and with the French, I think we've had some of the best chefs in the world, right?
I think that's the thing about British cooking. It welcomes in all sorts of influences from all over the world. It's a bit like American food, yeah.
Well, our national dish is chicken tikka, isn't it? I think it's
chicken tikka, which was created. Was that created in Birmingham? I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, tomato soup. Yeah, it was
created in Birmingham. You know, we do really have seriously tasty food with influences from all over the world, but we have our own homegrown food, and it's just so denigrated worldwide. I mean, you know, and the French believe that their cooking is brilliant, and the Portuguese believe their cooking is brilliant. And I've had some right rough old meals, you know.
Hey, so Terence, if you want to put on as much weight as I did to weigh down the back of the tractor, go to Vietnam. Honestly, the food is
really,
yeah. Vietnamese food is just amazing. I can't recommend it enough. I got so fat. And Gary's just said, what was the coffee like? I mean, it's nuts already. That is my summer drink from now on.
It's dangerously nice. I reckon it's made with cocaine.
It's awesomely addictive. So, yeah, no, it's fun.
Excellent.
Right, guys, you really have stretched it now. We've gone well now. So
really stretched.
Yes, thank you for joining us again. It's been an informative evening. Nice to see a few new faces on here. Eric, you especially.
Thanks for the invitation.
Welcome, Eric.
I just when we started talking about blackout and stuff like that, I just had to give the Lisbon perspective. So that's why.
Well, we need somebody from Lisbon. We need people from Lisbon. What's happening down there? It's not just for Portugal. This is for everybody. I would have loved. And I'm really going to pan you for this. You down the Algarve, right? You keep telling us how nice it is and how great it is, but nobody wants to come and represent you on here. What does that tell us? There is your challenge.
Yeah.
So, guys, have a good evening. Pete's made me want a coffee now, so I'm better go now. And have a good the weekend coming and have a good one of those. So take care, everybody.
All right. Ciao.
Bye.
Good night.
An awesome video.